Welcome to Doc's Daily Dose for Dads, prescribed by Dr. Harrison. Do you hear that? Yeah, you hear it. They're watching you. They're always watching you. That's what I want to talk about today. Your kids are constantly watching you. They're constantly learning. You are the model for them. You are the one that they look to know how to navigate through this crazy world. So I got a story for you. My oldest is now 8. And when he was younger, I was the head football coach of a local high school. I now coach as a defensive coordinator for another high school. But at that time, he was the only child, and he was about 3 years old. And I brought him to everything. I mean, practice, games, meetings. He was around football nonstop. I was a new dad. I was so proud of him. He wanted to be around daddy. I thought it was great. So I'm kind of a fiery guy and kind of a fiery coach. I was a fiery player too. They used to call me Angry Onio when I played, and when I coached, you didn't want to make me mad. So during that time of my head coach, I had never been groomed by another coach. I was just kind of thrown in the fire after 1 year as a super lowly assistant. I think I was just the DB's coach, to all of a sudden being a head coach. And so one day, about 3 years after I had been coaching as a head coach, I'm in the house and I'm doing some work or something. My 3-year-old son, he's got headphones on. They're not plugged into anything. And he's walking around mumbling to himself. I'm like, oh, well, I guess he's pretending like he's listening to music, right? Like, whatever. I'm not even paying any mind to it. 3-year-old's imagination, have fun. And then he starts getting a little louder and a little louder. And I take a look. Next thing I know, he's full on yelling, flailing his hands, and he takes the headset and he throws it against the wall. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, bro. What are you doing? Like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? What are you doing? He's like, nothing. I'm just playing. I was like, what are you playing? He's like, I'm playing coaching. He had watched me do that almost every single game on the sideline. Lose my temper, throw and break my headset. To him, that's what equaled coaching. It's kind of sad, isn't it? That really changed the way I come at kids when I was coaching in football. I was old school. That's how my coaches came at me. That's how I played the game. But when I saw my 3-year-old imitate that behavior, it changed the way I approach things. Now, I do lose my stuff every now and then, but it may be once during a season in a team meeting, or maybe once at halftime. But it's a rare occasion. It just doesn't happen that much anymore because I get more out of my guys by imitating the behavior I want them to engage in. Now, I'm not saying by any means that you need to be perfect, that you've got to be this perfect citizen with no flaws so that whenever your child is watching, because they're watching all the time, that they'll never see a mistake made. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, think about the things that you do, your behavior, and whether or not you want your kids to see that particular behavior. And then think about if they do see it and how often. And it'd be no wonder why they will follow in those footsteps. So you want to make sure that you're aware of what you want and what you don't want. You want to make sure to be aware of what you mind and what you don't mind. You know, this is different for all of us. We all have a different history. We've all been raised in a different way. We all have our own opinions. And I'm not here to tell you which behaviors should be okay for your kid to follow and which ones shouldn't. That's up to you as a parent, right? But you should at least be thinking about it. So I'm going to share with you 2 of the ones that I think about that I'm not so perfect at all the time, but it's my rationale for the do's and don'ts, or mind and don't mind, right? Now, all of us, I would think, for the most part, we really don't want our kids drinking heavily or smoking cigarettes, right? Well, here's the one that I mind but don't mind at the same time. We have family barbecues all the time. I mean, we just watched the Saturday night fight that was supposed to be Khabib and Ferguson, that after Conor McGregor destroyed that thing. But we ordered that fight. I specifically wanted to see the Khabib and Ferguson fight, but also Thug Rose fight. And so everyone came over. And when people come over for barbecues, we drink. We have a good time. No one gets belligerent. No one's throwing up. And it's family. And no one's fighting. So they see control of intake. They see family gathering. They see fun. They see love. Now, the unfortunate part about that is that's kind of how my family grew up, is there was always alcohol at functions like this. So I don't want them to think that there has to be alcohol there in order for you guys to have a good time. But I also want them to be aware that it's okay if they're older after they get 21 and have a drink. Now, well, I say after 21, but we all know kids drink in high school and even younger than that and experiment. But that's beyond the point. What I'm saying is I wanted them to make sure that it's all right. It's not a bad thing that's going to destroy your life, that you can't ever have a drop of or anything like that. We're in a controlled environment, controlled situation. No one's driving. No one's being loud or aggressive. No one's crying in the corner. We're all hanging out, watching the fight, having conversation, playing bones. I mean, it's a fun, good time. Now, here's another one. Smoking cigarettes. I'm a smoker. I have been since I was 12, right? But I also grew up in an era where you smoked in the car or in the house with your kids. We just didn't have all the information that we have today about secondhand smoke. So it's no wonder that I smoke, right? But my sister doesn't smoke cigarettes. But I loved watching my dad inhale a cigarette and thought it was the coolest thing. And so I tried it at a very young age. And I'm still a smoker to this day. But I don't smoke in the house. I don't smoke in the car with the kids. If we are at the family barbecue and I want to have a cigarette, I go away from everybody. If they come running over, I tell them they got to go. When they were really younger, I would try to hide the whole thing and pretend like I wasn't a smoker. But they're kids. They're older. They explore. They understand. Things get left around. So I wasn't going to lie to them, but I do tell them I don't want them smoking. But you know what that does? That also highlights something interesting about you personally, not just as a parent, but as a person. If it's not good enough for your kids, why is it good enough for you? I struggle with that question. I don't want my kids being a cigarette smoker. But I'm not sitting here saying I'm so addicted I can never quit. I don't want to. Right? But that takes some real self-introspection, some reflection to say, wow, I'm telling my kids one thing, but doing something completely different that they're watching with their eyes. So I better not be surprised if 1 out of the 3, 2 out of the 3, or all 3 boys become cigarette smokers. And I will have played a part in that heavily. And I'm aware of that. So I'm not perfect. I'm not asking you to be perfect. What I'm asking you to do is do what we just did right there and think about the things that you're doing and whether or not you want your kids doing those things because they're watching. And if it's okay for dad, the person they admire the most, why wouldn't it be okay for them? That's Doc's Daily Dose for Dads. Don't forget to hashtag docsdailydosefordads, hashtag 4D. Check out all of social media at rebirthbx. Hit up the website, rebirthbx.com. I'm also on a mission here, and I'm going to throw it out there. I actually really love the channel Viceland. I think it's made specifically for my demographic. And I think my demographic has children, which is why I'm doing this show. So I plan on doing whatever I can to make this the greatest morning show on the Viceland program. So anytime I put this video up, hit up Viceland. I'm hitting them up every morning on the little message service. If you ever watch their videos, I'm leaving them a message every morning, giving them the same advice I'm giving you for the day, but in a smaller snippet. We're going to get there because I want to make sure that a lot of people can hear this message. A lot of people can benefit from these small little tweaks or at least small little things to think about that I'm suggesting for you here on Doc's Daily Dose for Dads. All right, y'all. Much love for you. I appreciate all the love I'm getting. I'll be back to you guys tomorrow morning. Hopefully the morning thing worked out better than the evening thing, but I'll check the analytics at the end of the week. Talk to you soon.